My coworker is insanely narcissistic and likes to one-up everyone all the time, so when he witnessed me having a traumatic emergency, he seized the opportunity to highlight it as a learning moment for everyone else. I, 29F, have officially had it, and I'm commencing a campaign of, relatively benign, psychological warfare against one of my coworkers. I'll call him Dan. Dan started at the company in November of 2023 and seemed cool at first, but I have slowly grown to find him very annoying. There are too many examples to get into, but I would describe him as an entitled, impertinent sourpuss with a nicotine addiction and a self-professed problem with following the rules. WTF, why would you brag about this at work? He is my same age and role. For the record, I also arguably have a nicotine addiction, but I don't make it obvious in my place of work. So, a few days ago I regrettably had a horrifying emergency on my way into work. The whole ordeal unfolded very quickly, and while I was unmuted on a work call with my whole team. I don't want to go into details of the emergency, but it involved me getting caught up in an altercation that had nothing to do with me but resulted in me having a very public panic attack that my entire work team also heard over the phone. I am diagnosed with panic disorder. Edit: I am not supposed to discuss the details of this situation, as it is an open case with local law enforcement. On my way to work, I was arrested, and I was held in jail for 36 hours. I had a panic attack while being arrested, and then 5 more while I was in jail because I was denied access to my prescribed medications. You can pass your judgment on whether I deserved it, but you don't know me. My other coworkers, my family, my friends, and the larger local community, not the cops, have been extremely supportive. Think what you want, but screw the police, and I will probably never be able to trust them again. I was indisposed for a couple days after the emergency, and once I was able to return, my work computer was still in my office building, which I ultimately never reached, so I couldn't do any actual work beyond sending emails/messages off my phone. Almost all of my coworkers, who I've worked with for about 7 years now at this company, were incredibly supportive, sent me kind messages, and were generally concerned for my well-being, having directly heard me go through this ordeal in real time, and I still feel mortified, so their support really means the world. A few coworkers even contacted every single person I had scheduled meetings with to let them know I had an emergency. They seamlessly picked up my critical work tasks and offered to drop off my computer at home for me. I mean, these people rock, and that's why I've been at the company for 7 years. Dan, however, has appeared to have seized upon this opportunity, my traumatic emergency, to highlight my shortcomings. In the immediate aftermath of the emergency, when my coworkers were exchanging messages of support and concern about me, Dan sent no such messages, and he didn't ask how he could support. Instead, he inserted an absolutely useless recommendation into the team group chat about how I could have avoided this emergency in the first place. He immediately tried to turn my trauma into a learning moment, as if it was so obvious that this would have happened to me because of the choices I made leading up to it. Very she was asking for it in that dress, if you ask me. Gross. Then, I am finally recuperated enough, or out of jail, to look at my phone a couple days after the emergency. I get a message from a PM that I work with, asking me about the status of a report that I had put Dan in charge of.